In our previous discussions, we have talked about how urine is formed. Plasma is filtered in the glomerulus. More than 99% of filtered matters are reabsorbed into peritubular capillaries as the filtrate flows through the different segments of the renal tubule. Meanwhile, a few substances are secreted into the tubule. The filtrate eventually becomes urine and drains into the urinary bladder. Every day, 180 liters of glomerular filtrate is formed with copious amount of water. If this much water is excreted in a urine, plasma would be depleted quickly. So the ability of concentration urine is very essential. This time, we'll talk about how the kidney is able to concentrate and dilute the urine. Let's see a case. Miss Lin, a 35-year-old woman, develops severe polyuria after head trauma in a motor vehicle accident 3 days ago. She passes urine frequently, day and night. She is extremely thirsty, drinking about 1 glass of water, about 200 milliliters, every 15 to 20 minutes. Volume of urine over a 24-hour period is about 10 liters. Low specific gravity, but otherwise normal. She becomes weak and confused. What's wrong with Miss Lin, and what are the underlying mechanisms for her manifestations? Here are the learning objectives. At the end of this session, you will be able to explain the mechanisms of urine concentration and dilution. Compare factors related to regulation of urine production. The osmotic pressure of urine can vary greatly with the amount of fluid in the body. When the body is short of water, urine is concentrated to form hypertonic urine. When excess liquid is retained in the body, urine is diluted to form hypoosmotic urine. The urine osmolality of a healthy individual fluctuates between 50 to 1,200 milliosmol, indicating that the kidney has strong concentration and dilution abilities. Let's first see how urine is concentrated. Urine is concentrated because of water reabsorption in the renal tubules. There are two essential mechanisms enabling the body to produce concentrated urine. Hypertonic concentration gradient of the renal medulla and permeability of the collecting duct to water. Antidiuretic hormone, ADH, can increase the expression of aquaporin on the epithelial cell membrane of collecting duct and promote reabsorption of water. The formation of a hypertonic concentration gradient in renal medulla involves three processes. First, the long loops of juxtamedullary nephrons create the gradient and function as countercurrent multipliers. Second, the street blood vessels preserve the gradient. They serve as countercurrent exchangers. Third, the collecting ducts of all nephrons use the gradient to adjust urine osmolality. These countercurrent mechanisms establish and maintain an osmotic gradient extending from the cortex through the depths of the medulla. This medullary osmotic gradient allows the kidneys to dramatically vary the urine concentration. In conditions like water depression and hemorrhage, the body needs to conserve water or fluid, so any urine passed would be concentrated. We'll take water deprivation as an example to see what happens when the body lacks water. Water is continuously lost from the body. If this situation is not corrected, plasma osmolarity increases progressively. The increase in osmolarity stimulates osmoreceptors in the hypothalamus, which are highly sensitive to changes in osmolarity. Stimulation of the hypothalamic osmoreceptors has two effects. First, it produces thirst and the person seeks to drink. Second, it promotes release of ADH from the posterior pituitary gland. ADH increases water permeability in the distal tubule and collecting duct, and more water is thus reabsorbed. As a result, urine osmolarity increases and the volume is reduced. So increased water reabsorption means more water is returned to body fluids. Plasma osmolarity is therefore lowered to normal levels. Although renal medullary hypertonicity is the driving force for water reabsorption from the tubular fluid, how much water is reabsorbed depends on the permeability of distal tubule and collecting duct to water, which, as we said, is under ADH control. ADH, also called arginine vasopressin, is the key hormone that alters the permeability of collecting duct epithelial cells to water, mainly through aquaporin 2. In response to increased plasma osmolarity, ADH is produced in the nephral hypothesis. Therefore, any abnormality in either the brain or the kidney can upset water metabolism. Now let's discuss how urine is diluted. Dilution of the tubular fluid mainly occurs in the collecting duct. Excessive water intake will reduce the renal permeability to plasma crystalloids, and the release of ADH is also inhibited. The permeability of the collecting duct to water will be reduced, and water cannot be reabsorbed. However, reabsorption of sodium chloride in the tubular fluid reduces its osmotic concentration, so urine is diluted. Let's come back to the case. Miss Lin develops central diabetes insipidus due to head injuries. ADH secretion is impaired, and so water cannot be reabsorbed properly in the collecting ducts. A large amount of dilute urine of low specific gravity is produced. This huge fluid loss will lead to dehydration quickly. Normal functions of body cells and systems are impaired, causing her weakness and confusion. Central diabetes insipidus, secondary to head trauma, can be temporary or long-lasting. For the latter, treatment with desmopressin can be considered. In summary, the concentration of urine is caused by the reabsorption of water while solute remains in the tubular fluid. The mechanisms of urine concentration are the hypertonic concentration gradient of the renal medulla and the permeability of renal tubules to water. ADH can promote renal reabsorption of water, so urine is concentrated. When ADH is not produced, urine is diluted and the volume increased. That's all for today. Thank you and see you next time.
Okay.